Namaskar. Today's lesson is The Ant and the Cricket. It's a beautiful poem adapted from one of Aesop's fables. You certainly have read some of Aesop's fables like the story of the crow and the pitcher, where the crow drops pebbles into a pitcher to raise the level of water and drink it. This particular poem is an adapted version of one such a story. Now, who was Aesop? Aesop was actually a Greek slave who lived in the 7th and the 6th century BCE in the ancient Greece. He was known or popular for his storytelling. It was 300 years after his death that his fables first started to get compiled. Over 100 fables are actually attributed to him, and they are very popular not only in Europe but also across the world. Now, what is a fable? A fable is basically a moral story that has got non-human characters showing human qualities. Human qualities like envy or selfishness or laziness or hatred or ambition, etc. What kind of non-human characters you get to see in such stories? You mostly get to see animal characters. Besides them, you also get to see plant characters or even natural forces like storm, rain to be characters in such stories. And through such stories, certain lessons are taught to the readers, certain messages are served to the masses. This particular poem is also telling us a similar story. It is also teaching us a kind of a lesson. So before I tell you more about the poem, let me recite the poem first. So the poem goes this way. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing, through the sunny, warm months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground, not a flower could he see, not a leaf on a tree. Oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me? At last, by starvation and famine made bold, all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold, away he set off to a miserly ant to see if to save his life he would grant him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain. He wished only to borrow, he would repay it tomorrow. If not, he would die of starvation and sorrow. Says the ant to the cricket, I am your servant and friend, but we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? Quoth the cricket, not I. My heart was so light that I sang day and night, for all nature looked gay. You sang, sir, you say? Go then, says the ant, and dance the winter away. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket, and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. Folks call it a fable. I will warrant it true. Some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. Well, there's a small mistake. Crickets don't have 4 legs. They actually have 6 legs. And why is it said that some crickets have 2 legs? Well, that's what I am going to tell you in a short while. Before that, let me give you a summary of the poem. So what is being said in the poem? So there was a silly and young cricket who was so happy during the warm months of spring and summer that he did not bother about the future. He did not store any food. He just sang. He was so happy that he sang. But when winter came, he found that he had stored no food. Now he was starving. Now when he could not tolerate this hunger anymore, he went to a miserly ant to borrow some food and to get some shelter. But the ant refused to help him, saying that ants don't borrow and ants never lend as well. Now, you may find the ant to be a bit inhuman, but who is to be blamed for this? the cricket. So the ant refused to help the cricket and turned him out. Now the poet says in the conclusion that some crickets have 4 legs and some crickets have 2. So here he is actually comparing a cricket with a human being. Just like the cricket, some human beings are also very irresponsible. When the time is there, they avoid their duties and responsibilities. And when the deadline arrives, they suddenly become aware of their mistake, and then there is no time to rectify it. Just for example, take it to be like this, that often students don't study all throughout the year. When the exams knock on the door, they suddenly become just aware of the situation, but there is no time to cover the entire syllabus. As a result, they start to suffer. Now you may approach someone, a teacher or a friend for help, but how they can help you? You yourself are to be blamed for this mistake. Not mistake, it's actually, what can I say, irresponsibility. So the poem tells us, or it teaches us, not to be lazy, not to be so irresponsible towards our duties. When the time is there, we should complete our duty, we should complete our tasks and work, and we should also think about the future. When we secure that, when we complete our duties, when we attend to our duties, only after that we should indulge in recreational activities. You may wish to watch a movie, or you may wish to listen to music or go out with your friends, but before that you must think whether you have an unfinished job. If you have to finish it first. Finish it, then you indulge in recreational activities. That's what this poem teaches us, right? So I hope you have learned it well and you will be applying this lesson in your life. Read the poem, recite it, get the vibe, get the lesson, and then you will obviously be enjoying it, and your life will be far more beautiful than you actually have it now. So on this note, I am going to end this discussion. Thank you.